Namaste, welcome to Satsang. So, as always, Satsang is for the direct experience and then the seeing of what we are, followed by a deeper understanding of how to live as that, because they can be two very different processes. What it takes to see what we are can be different to what it takes to live as this. And there are a lot more misconceptions about how to live like this, I think, from my own experience in working with others, than there is about how to see it. So we're going to combine both of those. We're going to do a meditation for probably 15 to 20 minutes or so, and then I'm going to answer a couple of questions we've had sent in, and then I'll open it up for questions here. But for the sake of this meditation, to get the most out of it, if you can, see if you can keep your eyes open just for the time being. If we're getting the looks already. If they close, it's okay. Don't worry. But if you can keep them open just for a few minutes, at least, you might find yourself sort of breaking into something that you haven't maybe experienced in quite such a deep way. So we're just going to practice being here and now. And that really just means being present. Right now, you know what your senses are perceiving. You know what these words, you're hearing these words coming in through your ears. You're seeing images through your eyes. You can feel where your body is making contact with whatever you're sitting on. You know whether your body is hot or cold or comfortable, just right, or is it aching? Is it in pain? Is it tired? Or is it wide awake? And we're just being here, just noticing, being here and now. And when we're just present here like this, we'll begin to find that we can feel a sense of aliveness or alertness in just being here. And every now and again, when our mind speaks, attention will go to what our mind is saying. And just noticing when that's happened, bring attention back. Be here in the room with me, whether you're online or here, we can be here together. There really is no difference. So whatever your senses are perceiving, whatever your body's feeling, noticing that. Recognizing that you can just be here. You don't need to be anywhere else. And that we're not trying to achieve anything. We're just very simply here and now. There isn't anywhere to get. There's nothing we need to achieve. And again, just checking if attention has gone to listen to the mind and bringing it back to just being here. I'm here, and that's the end of the story. Just being here with your mind and body, however they are. Staying here with me. just here. There isn't any effort needed to just be here, is there? You're just already present. And there's nothing that needs to happen. No expectations. Just spending time like this. Keeping your eyes open if you can. Alert, aware, present, relaxed. There's no to-do list here. And there's no to become list here. Just already are. And as we just be here with this moment, can notice that we begin to feel more present, more alive. As the energy that we usually waste chasing thoughts begins to kind of accumulate here. Again, just checking if your attention has left this moment, this present moment, and gone to some thought. It's okay if it has, just bringing it back. Are you here with me? Very simple seeing that there is this moment here that is already complete. That we can be awake, aware, and we don't have to go with mind automatically. Whenever attention is distracted by thoughts or sounds or sensations in the body, or by trying to get somewhere, even trying to stay like this, we can drop that, simply come back to this moment. And if your eyes want to close, it's okay. Go ahead and close them if you want to. Just remaining here though. Just here. There's a contentment here, a fulfillment. A fulfillment right here. Recognizing that we don't have to be focused on something. Attention doesn't have to jump from object to object, thought to feeling to sensation. It can just rest here. I'm simply here. There's never a better moment than this right now. It will never be different than this right now. We can be present here, already arrived, already free. Just recognizing that it's possible to still be perceiving through the senses and not interacting with mind, just noticing, just here. And attention will move around, it will get distracted, it's okay. If a nice, peaceful state comes upon the body, attention might go to it. Or some restlessness arises, attention might go to it. Some thoughts about yesterday or tomorrow. Just bringing attention back to this moment here. We're only trying to get somewhere because we think it's going to feel better when we get there. And being here right now is enough. And we rest here. There is something beautiful about just being here. Not being led around by our mind, just being here. Just being present, even if thoughts are coming and going. They're just coming and going. Just like your body is breathing in and out. Thoughts are coming and going. No big deal. Gently checking, are you here? Or are you with your thoughts somewhere else? Just coming back here, if you've wandered off, to the richness, the fullness of this present moment. As we spend a few minutes in silence now, just noticing when you can, if your attention has wandered, bringing it back. Doesn't matter how many times it wanders. Just bringing it back. Thank you. So, as we move into questions and answers, let's see if we can just stay present. Let's see if we can just listen, just be here. And as you're listening to a question and to an answer, let's see if we can just listen. Do we have to try to get something out of it? Do we have to try to use what we're receiving, what we're hearing. Can we just be here even with this? What happens when we're just present to the information, to the words, to the sounds? As you're practicing this, you can begin to do this the rest of our waking state too. You can begin to do this. Just being here, wherever you are, just being here. So, I will read a couple of questions that have been sent in, and then we'll open it up. Okay, so this one says, "Dear Helen, I'm confused. Please help, as I'm sure you will. I just heard you answering a question about karmic patterns carried forward from one lifetime to the next. Such patterns do seem to relate to our personality, and I think even the word thought was used. But my understanding is that personality is what we lose as we go on. That it's consciousness free from personality, identity, etc., that we are aiming to lose. Ideally through awakening or even through some progress. Have I misunderstood? Thanks, Helen." So really, it depends on what you mean by personality. You know, we could all have a different meaning to that. But really, for me, it was the individuality, the uniqueness, what makes me me, how the self is showing up as me, and having that be able to express itself without any limiting beliefs on that, which are the karmic patterns. So we've all got unique ways of being, unique ways of expressing ourselves, unique ways of things that we like that others don't, and all of that. And coming to be able to enjoy being yourself without being any, without feeling any limitation on that, any limiting belief on the expression of your own self as this human being. So we could call that personality, I guess. We could also call that individuality, pure consciousness showing up as this personality. Doesn't necessarily need to be something that's gotten rid of. It could just be, here is me, this is what I am. There's the formless infinite you, and then there is how that formless infinite self is showing up as the unique individual. And really all that was lost for me in terms of identity, as you're saying here, free from personality, free identity, was rather the capacity to feel that this individuality, personality was all that I am. So that was all that shifted when identity shifted, was I can never again think of myself as only this individual expression, only this personality, only this body mind. That this is the changing aspect of me against this deeper recognition of this eternal self that's underneath, this unchanging. So really what you're losing is limitations. And we could call those karmic patterns, but you'll still have the ability to think and feel and experience after that. There just won't be, as we were practicing just now, there won't be so much commentary going on what you're experiencing. Can you imagine feeling authentic? Can you imagine feeling original? Can you imagine feeling free? That whatever your body and mind does in this moment is whatever they're doing in this moment, with no sense that they should be otherwise. No sense that you're not how you're supposed to be. Freedom in authenticity. What stifles that authenticity is beliefs that we trying to change ourselves, that we should be different than we are. That's what I lost. That's what dropped away, is this capacity to constantly try to change myself and never quite achieve that. When I stopped that and I fell away, then things began to change anyway. So I think we're on the same page. We're probably just different meanings of the word personality. Okay. Hi, Helen. I am so grateful for your wonderful teachings, which have helped me so much. However, I am now facing the breakdown of my long-term relationship, and the feelings of rejection, grief, rage, jealousy, and desolation are so strong that they're completely taking over. And my mind and body in the most disturbing and visceral way. I can't eat or sleep, and all my attempts to keep attention on the noumenon are failing. Maybe you have others listening who feel as desperate as me and would benefit from hearing what you might suggest. I know a lot of this is negative thinking, but these emotions, probably unresolved from childhood or previous lifetimes, have such a powerful magnetic force. They are hard to resist. Also, I am facing them now because they need to be resolved in order for me to wake up. I hope so much that you can help me with love and gratitude. So you're right, of course, that these are coming up now because in order to help you wake up, you've seen enough to have these coming to the surface now that they're out of alignment with what you've seen yourself to be. And this experience of this relationship breaking up is a mirror image, a reflection of some beliefs that are held inside, some thoughts, as you've said here. And it is very common to feel this intensity of emotion after some deeper seeing is happening, because as we start to see what we really are, we are this present moment in which our body is just sitting. We are the moment here in which all of this is just appearing in. And we are all of this appearing in it. And that's very different to how we're taught to perceive ourselves, that I am this separate being moving around inside this present moment and moving around inside the world, interacting with other beings. So unresolved yet from previous lifetimes, childhood, all of that. And the resolution then is going to come by looking at these emotions. The emotion is getting your attention. Can't stay with your attention on the present moment. That's okay. Something pulls attention away. It just means that it needs to be looked at. There's nothing going wrong if you can't keep your attention on the self, the silence, the present moment. It just means that there's something that is so believed still inside that it's pulling attention to it. This thought has been given a lot of relevance, and we're feeling the resulting emotion of it. So first of all, recognizing, as you said, that this is happening because not the relationship breaking up, but you're suffering through it. It is possible to have a relationship come to an end without the suffering. And if we're suffering, it's because we're believing thoughts about it rather than the actual experience. So what are the thoughts that you are believing here in this situation that are leading to these strong emotions? What does rejection say to you? What does grief say? Rage, jealousy, and desolation, you've said. So if you take those one by one, starting with the strongest one, you've even said also desperation here, and look at, what is this trying to say to me? What does rage want to say? If I really could listen to it, if it had a voice, what would it tell me? What would it be believing? And it would be some kind of idea that something along the lines of that life isn't fair, that I can't be happy, I can't get what I want or need to be safe, to be happy, to be loved. Someone or something else is getting in the way of my happiness and I can't have it. Some visceral feeling like that. And then seeing if that's actually true. Staying with that question, is that true now? It feels true as a separate being, doesn't it? Plenty of times we've experienced over and over again that we can't get what we want or need. Whether that's a person to make us feel happy, whether that's enough resources, inner or outer peace or time or patience or energy. They have a powerful magnetic force because they're asking you to look at them. You know, there's, for all of us, there's places in our awakening where we just can't seem to keep our attention on the present moment, can we? Sometimes some emotion, some experience, some other being just seems, attention just goes right there. And that's only because that's the next thing to contemplate. Is this true, this idea behind this emotion? And that's where you're about to blossom into deeper seeing. So I'm guessing you sent this a while ago. I hope you are experiencing a bit more peace now, but whichever emotion is still playing strongly, start with that one. Ask it what it wants to tell you. And as you begin to look at it, the intensity of the emotion will begin to diminish. And stay with the question, is this true for me now, actually? It feels true as a separate being, but if I keep agreeing with it, I'll keep experiencing it. What if something wonderful is trying to happen and my beliefs that I'm holding on to are limiting that? What if life is trying to give me something really good? And I just need to examine what's holding that back, what's limiting the manifestation. So I hope that helps. Yeah. Do we have any questions? One there, do you want to come up first? If you have any questions online, feel free to raise your hand. We'll take up to 4 or 5 altogether. We'll come to you next, Amy, after. She means business, just come with a piece of paper now.
I'm going around in circles with this, so I've tried to write stuff down. I've had a little bit of help from someone I've been sharing it with. So self is inclusive of self, body, person. And then the person can seemingly experience and label that as good, bad, and suffering seems as a person. I want to experience as an individual without labeling good and bad. Then the first question was really helpful with preferences and, as you said, personality. And I've been really looking at trying to be myself because there's been a huge battle and imaginary arguments and all this stuff going on. I'm having very much sleepless nights. So I wanted to have this experience without pushing it away. But I've been looking at experiencing joy. And when I experience joy, it gets spoilt. And it isn't, and that isn't what I want. So I get the joy and then I get the lack of joy. Mm-hmm. And that seems to be very different and separate. So I've been contemplating it. I've been doing statements and meditation, but I'm finding the contemplation's the one that's resonating at the moment. And I contemplate and then it lifts. And that's how I feel at the moment, it's lifted. And I don't want to say it's easier when I'm suffering, because it isn't. It's horrible, but it's easier to express it. But then it comes up really fiercely, and in the middle of the night I'll wake up and there's all this fear or anxiety, and I've got a huge complex going on, and you find a question in there, or 10. I want to experience, I want to be me and be able to, I'm trying to stand up for myself in lots of different areas, and just be me and be true and be what I want to be as my personality.
What does it mean to be you for you? What does it actually mean, I want to be me?
I'm trying to live my full life and enjoy my full life.
So you mentioned joy, you want joy.
Yeah, because when I feel it, when I end up laughing or something fun happens, like it's happened today, I can feel the huge difference. And something silly happened with somebody online about a word, and we just ended up laughing online, and I feel huge difference, such a disparity between that and not. And
so why does that have to come to an end? It's not necessarily something that you have to give me an answer to, but it's something that's worth, as in a verbal answer, but something that's worth investigating. Why does that come to an end?
I have been asking that. There was a blame game going on. Ego started blaming me for it, that I wasn't doing it, and
Because I screw it up, right?
Yeah.
I can't keep that joy, I screw it up, and
yeah, even
right
when the
back.
storm came and stopped my trip away, that was my fault.
So is it the stormy emotions and, you know, whatever's going on in the body, is it that that's diminishing your joy? Or could it be something else? Is it possible to feel joy and be scared at the same time? Is it possible to feel joy and peace and feel frustrated at the same time? Does it have to be one or the other?
I felt peace in a very traumatic situation before.
So there's something to start from. I've experienced, I know that's true, that I can feel peaceful and the body is feeling a lot of emotion, right? So that is your, or has been your direct experience.
Yeah, definitely.
So why not joy also then?
I feel when I'm in those moments of despair that I can't find it at all.
What if those moments of despair, though, are a symptom, a reflection of some belief that, and I had the same thing too, you know, that there's, I can feel peaceful while I'm scared, but I'm never actually going to feel happy while my body's feeling fear. It's just not possible. Some belief like that.
Yeah.
That they're too opposite for me to experience at the same time.
Yeah.
Like ice and boiling water, you know.
It resonates.
When I actually started to look at this, because I wasn't really going to get any further with that belief there, was it? You know, as you're experiencing now, you just go around and you get really high highs and really low lows, and
mainly low
it
lows.
sucks. Yeah, it sucks big time. So is the joy coming from what is or isn't happening phenomenally in terms of emotions and thoughts, or is the joy independent of that? What is it to feel joy?
Instantly, it's screaming opposite to misery or suffering.
And it seems to be. And therefore, how could I possibly feel joy while I'm feeling some kind of misery at the same time? Yeah. What if the joy is from something other, from some independent thing of whatever emotion's being felt? What if joy is when I've forgotten how to push against anything or grab a hold of anything? What if I'm struggling because I've got this idea that I've got to get rid of all this tumultuous emotion before I can get back to joy. It's actually not the emotion, it's my very pushing against this moment that's diminishing my joy, and that I can stop doing that at any time. Yeah, but mine says, yeah, right. Yeah.
The big but. And I know, and I don't mean this in an arrogant way at all, but I know this because I've done this before, and there's very much a here I am again, and it's worse. And there's no huge trigger. I've gone through terrible things, and there's nothing going on. Everything's fine, and I'm feeling dreadful.
Let's go back to authenticity, being yourself. Right? Let's go back to that. I want to be myself. I think that's what you said, something like that. Does that mean then I want to be free of all this other stuff? Or does it mean I just want to be whatever I am in this moment? Which is most important to you right now?
I can say now that I want to be what I am in this moment, because at the moment I'm not too bad. I know that I'm not trying to be dismissive of what you're saying.
It's okay, don't worry, I know you know.
When I'm feeling like that, it's very raw. It's a lot of tears. And
what happens though when you just abandon all attempts to change it? Have you ever actually done that?
I've tried to. I think there's a lot of frustration around it because I know it's not real. And
has pushing against it ever actually worked to make you feel better? Ever?
No,
any of us, right?
No.
It's never worked, has it?
And that's why I'm meditating more, and the contemplation that, like I said, is helping. But I feel like I'm in a hamstring wheel, just going around. So it is pushing it away. God, I don't want it.
So are you just like stuffed for all eternity, you know, just gonna go around in the wheel? Or
That's the fear.
okay. I'm not being flippant, I'm just trying to get to where the belief is.
No, it's fine. I think that is the belief. Like you've mentioned, I think might have been tonight, very recently, about somebody asked the question, and it was knowing that, you know, that there's always more to look at. You actually triggered something there, but there's always more to look at, and there's like, is this how it's always going to be? More to do, more to look at. I think maybe there's a fear in that.
So how did you begin to feel peace even while there were negative emotions there? What did you do to achieve that, to feel that?
In that situation I was talking about earlier, I mean.
You said that you've experienced before, not joy, but definitely peace. Well,
it just happened. I was exhausted, going through really bad family trauma, and I was exhausted and like dozing, and I was aware of a lot of people I love there, and
too tired to push against anything.
Absolutely. I was absolutely exhausted. And I think in a way that's what's happening to me now. I'm getting so tired.
Can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So do you have to do it now? Do I have to push against this moment? Here's a good question. Am I duty bound to just resist? Do I have no control at all over this resistance? If I can come to understand that what I'm really suffering from is because I'm pushing against the emotions rather than the emotions themselves, the emotions will tend to disappear once I stop pushing. Do I have to automatically push against what is? Where is that place inside me where I'm already at rest? Mind is like a resistance machine. It is the wheel, isn't it, with the hamster in it.
Oh, definitely.
So are you the hamster, or are you just the one watching the whole thing? Do you even have a choice about this, resisting or not? What if there's a whole host of negative emotions and there's resistance, and I'm just here with that? I'm just here with it.
I'm just taking it in what you're saying.
What if I don't even have to fix the resistance? I'm just here with it. Some negative emotion arises. Some sense arises inside that I don't want to feel this. I don't want to. And if I agree with, I've got to get rid of, I've got to stop doing that, I'll try really hard to not push against this moment, which is a pushing against. Or I can just be here with whatever is occurring in my experience, a kind of surrender, kind of just, okay, what is what is.
I find it hard to be able to acknowledge that, never mind do it, because it's so painful when there's so much anxiety when it comes up.
Is it the anxiety that's causing you to suffer?
Yeah.
If I think it's the fear that I'm feeling that's making me suffer, I will try to get rid of it. If I realize when any negative emotion arises, there's going to be something that's pushing against it too. Something says no, no, I don't want this. And you can just let that arise, and the no, and just being here with both of those.
Okay.
What if you don't even have to fix resistance? It's not your job to do that. You're giving yourself work to do here that you can't achieve. You're so busy watching the hamster in the wheel that you think that's you.
Yeah. That's what it feels like, that I've let this person with all this angst just come out of this peace that I've been living in for so long, and
just to break through this final idea that there's anything at all left for me to do.
I'll listen to this again. I need to listen to it again.
And either way, whether you let go on purpose or whether you just get too exhausted, it will come to an end. But faster would be better.
I'm preferable.
Now would be better. You know, do you actually have to keep going around? Are you just watching? Can you do anything about the resistance at all?
No.
Can you do anything about the fear at all?
No. It's like resisting the resistance and makes it engulfs it. Okay, thank you.
You say yes to the no, and you say yes to the fear. Walk into it.
Forgotten that one.
It's okay. And see what happens.
Yeah. Thank you very, very much.
Put down the battle axe. Yeah. And the wheel. And don't go near any cheese, whatever you do. Never mind.
Thank you.
Lovely. Amy, when you're ready.
Hi, Helen.
Right. Hi,
Can you
Amy.
hear me
Sorry.
okay?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Great. Probably along the same lines as Maggie, really, or similar.
You want cheese as well. Sorry.
Yeah.
Try to be sensible. Sorry.
Definitely the mouse on the wheel. Yeah, there's been some huge intensities come up in different houses at the moment, and on one side I can feel it really deepening me, because it's, I can't, I've got to look at it, and and I'm trusting that, but on the other side, it's just in the situation of it, I find that one thing that happens with these moments of intensities is that I kind of shy away from doing things for my body, and because the energy goes, and then or I'm very triggered, and so I tend to be practicing a lot, but the joy, the things that kind of bring or initiate joy for me, you know, just movement of some kind, or singing, or getting out into nature a bit more, things like that. And but it's been steadily getting better and better. But this has been like, yeah, a week of a lot of intensities on different sides, and I just find my the 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 joy, the joyful things going, and the body getting more crunchy and tight, and
Mhm.
I it just, yeah, I just wondered if you had any um advice for that, because there's obviously like loads of other things that I'm working with, but it's that kind of just whittles everything down.
Yeah.
um
When we experience something that we'd rather not experience, it's as we were just saying before, there'll be this wanting to push against it, and it then compounds, doesn't it? Because as I'm resisting this experience I'm having, I know I shouldn't be doing that because I've seen too much spiritually and all that. So in the pushing against, my body begins to get really tense and tight, as you were saying, and then I think I shouldn't be doing that. I should be able to just let go and relax, and then because I can't quite seem to manage that, I get even more uptight, and then I don't even want to do anything that would help anyway. As you're saying, it's just not available in that moment. Just, all right, let me just get out and go for a brisk walk and get my mind off it or something. You can't really have access to that idea in those places, that low energy, can you? It just gets kind of stuck. So again, though, is it the emotion itself, the energy field itself, or the pushing against it that is actually sapping the energy out of the situation? Just noticing, if you aren't feeling any impetus in that moment to do anything to help change that situation, if you don't feel that you can pull yourself out of it, can you be with that in that moment? Can you be that in that moment? I'm here, my body is here, and there's this emotional energy going through the body. Do I have to try to do something about that? And in that, there's a kind of letting go that begins to happen anyway. A
yeah,
deeper surrender sometimes.
yeah, that's definitely been happening, and as I said, it's not sort of as bad as it usually is, but there's just like a natural want to kind of support my vibration a bit better, because if I get to, it's just those little things of like, if I get to a yoga class in the week, then things are going to go a bit better vibrationally, and it's just those moments where I go, oh no.
But it's not the actual, it's not the not going to the class, is it, that's making you feel bad? It's the feeling that you should have gone and didn't. If I do this class, this yoga, I'm gonna feel better and things, and that may be true. But if I don't go because I'm feeling so kind of in a low place, this idea that I should have gone is what's actually making me feel worse. So if
You
you kind
think
of have
that's what's making?
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, because the feedback that my body gives me after a while is like getting tight and crunchy and muscles tense, and it feels like the energy's not flowing as well, and
Yeah.
so you think that's more to do with the belief around it than
It's always to do with the belief. So you could go to that class feeling that you have to do the class so that you feel better, and it'll actually be counterproductive. You could also stay at home from a place of whatever happens, happens, and actually feel the body relax and the energy start to flow. So if you can kind of cultivate an attitude, if I go today, I go. If I don't, I don't. It's okay. Whatever happens, happens. And I'm not going to shouldn't myself about it. Because it's always the
it's not
thought
so much,
field that's causing the issue rather than the actual activity. It's not the yoga itself that makes the energy start to flow and the body relax. It's the fact that you're not thinking so much while that's going on.
so I think I'm doing something beneficial for myself, so that's
That's what you experience. Yeah.
that's what I experience.
So
because I don't sit there with a lot of shoulds and shouldn'ts anymore. That's kind of gone, but it's a build up. It does feel like it's a more subtle build up over a couple of weeks, where at the end of it,
there might just
I'm
be some
feeling
very
like,
subtle ideas about how to manage the energetic shifts that happen during the awakening process. If I go for a brisk walk every day, and if I make sure I breathe properly, and if I eat the right food, and if I do some yoga, all of that is helpful. But if we're doing it from a place of I have to or else, it's going to be counterproductive.
there is this thing of joy and creativity as well. It's kind of like, there's this, there's a lot around that. Like, if I'm that, that's what brings me joy, and that's what's going to bring me joy, and that I'm not doing it, and I'm
If my body feels tight anytime, I know that going for a walk or doing some yoga or going to the gym is going to make it feel better. I know that. And by the time I've finished doing that, I won't remember why I ever felt upset. But I also know that if I sit there thinking I have to go or else I'm going to feel worse, I start to feel really worse. If I just kind of sit there metaphorically and go, well, either my body will get in the car and go or it won't, or it'll get the yoga mat out or it won't. And I'll just watch what happens here. Then it tends to happen more often than not, Any slight shoulds or shouldn'ts in it, and it goes into a very low energy field very quickly. It spirals, it can do.
I'll watch that a bit more then, because I do watch myself just do things sometimes, and I'm like, you see. But
it's like, what does my body want to do right now about this energy field? What does it want to do? Like, I don't know what it wants to do. It might be what I thought I should do. It might be the same thing, but just coming from that energy, what does it actually want to do right now? And that might be nothing at all. It might just want to lie there on the floor. Or I might want to go to sleep, or it might be that I do some yoga or whatever it is, but it'll be coming from a different place of
it is all these ideas, isn't it? It's all ideas of
some emotion comes up, and if I don't do X, Y, and Z, it builds up and I can't manage it, But that thought system was helpful at one point. Now it's actually getting in the way. So just to notice those ideas and seeing what your body wants to do in that.
Thank you. But is it okay if I ask something else quickly?
Yeah, just quick. Yeah.
Well, it's just about dealing with another person, that there's this kind of it feels very painful to be in contact with this person, and and there's also been like this faint idea of sort of wanting to fix it or leave it peacefully,
Mhm.
which kind of brings me back into conversation with this person. But then
What
it
happens when you
ends
try
up,
to fix it? Does that
uh,
actually work? Maybe you can only fix it within yourself.
yeah, there's this feeling of that's been battered out of me, quite honestly,
Your
of
experience,
like,
yeah, over and
if
over.
I just get the communication right, or if I just
I
explain
just
it to
find
him in the right way.
if I just find the right thing to do, if I just come at it from the right place spiritually, and every
Yeah,
time it kind of like, and eventually you just stop trying to do that, right? Why disturb yourself and that other person if it's not really going to work out?
it's like it's been an addiction, quite honestly. Like, it's because there's been grieving and a lot of attachment and stuff. It's
Or
just
is it
been,
some sense of, how this is supposed to end? How is this supposed to end? Am I trying to fix this with this person to reach some place of peace between the two of us that's just not possible right now?
mm, yeah. I mean, that's that's where I've got to with it, because
Yeah.
it's so painful to be in contact now that it's just like I've just got to leave this unfinished. My mind's version of unfinished, and
Either you or the other person or both of you are in a different place vibrationally, and so trying to bring these two very different frequencies together, it's just, you can kind of, it's like holding a ball down under the water, right? If you put a lot of effort into it, you can hold it down there, and the moment you let go, so it's just why are you trying to reconcile it anyway, so that you'll both feel better? And won't you both feel better if you just stop trying to reconcile it right
I
now?
think, yeah, I mean, I think it's part of it is is the grief that comes up, which I've been, sitting with the layers, working through the truth of that, because it has just been like really, really mind-bendingly strong.
I would suggest just looking
And
at why am I trying to change
yeah, I
this?
think there's that sense.
What is this actually about underneath this, and see what comes up from that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's been massive shifts all the way along this, but it's just this, yeah, this last piece, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes things just are best left as they are, and why am I trying to change it right now? What's underneath, what's underneath that motivation? Good.
yeah, yeah. That's it. Because there's nowhere else to go with it now, apart from that, really. Yeah, yeah.
No, good to talk.
Thanks, Helen. Thanks so much. Thank you so much for the course. Thanks everybody for their questions. Just love you all. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Love you too. Steve, did you? Yeah. So we'll take Steve and then Melissa, and then we'll leave it there for tonight.
Go,
So
Melissa.
Melissa first.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Melissa first.
Thanks, Steve. Hi, Helen.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you? Well, I'm not really good, but it's what we all say, I think.
Just the answer. I'm fine.
So I've had several days of, I won't say insomnia, but very little sleep, and just not being able to relax. And I feel like I've had a deepening in the realization, and sometimes I feel like I'm just, somebody's like plugged me into an outlet, and there's just so much intensity of energy that I just feel like I can't handle it.
Mhm.
And then I'm so exhausted, but I have this intensity of energy, and it's like kind of makes me feel a little bit anxious as well. but I've also had like, I don't know what you call it, if it's mystical or like psychic experiences, or, you know, beings that are no longer in form, being in contact with that. And so I'm just kind of
You've
feeling
had a
really,
busy week then. We're only on
yes,
Thursday.
I really have. So I'm just feeling, I've done so much contemplation around so much of this, but I absolutely can relate to the resisting the resistance,
Yeah.
you know, that,
Especially when you're lying there at 2 a.m. and you're like, I should be asleep right now. I'm going to be tired in the morning. Why
Yeah.
can't I get back to sleep? You know, and eventually I just recognized if I'm tired, I'm tired. There's nothing I can do about that. And if I'm awake, I'm awake. There's nothing I can do about that. And I actually started to just get up and do something or just read a book, you know, because I couldn't be pushing against in that moment then, you know. It's like, what is what is, isn't it? And maybe this is just a period where your body is assimilating a new level of energy, and its sleep routine might get a little funky until it's done that.
well, and I absolutely get that. I think the piece that kind of takes over for me that I've questioned is, it really, am I really tired? I mean, I know the body feels exhausted, but I think it's also the thoughts around, you know, because I have a responsibility as a parent and getting my children to school, and, you know, so the thoughts of, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to function? You know,
And here we get down to the real idea that's underneath all of this. I can't do this awakening thing and be a parent and are they really compatible? And boy, I've been there, right? 4 kids, and can I actually still do everything I need to do and go through these energetic shifts and changes that can sometimes be very intense in that?
well, and that really, I think you nailed it, because I also started a course, and I was thinking, can I really do this with, I mean, especially now, just needing to be living more in the moment, because I can't, my memory is like, I can't grab a hold of that. So it's like a shifting of how I can be, how I am in the world. And it's like, I just don't really have a choice anymore.
Yeah.
So,
So recognizing that as you take on more activity, this thought might pop up again, just to kind of say hello, you know, can you really do all this? Can you pull all this off at the same time? And of course, logically, we know the answer is yes, but just noticing that there is something inside that believes, no, you know, this is too much. I can't handle this. Whether this is this course or being a parent or awakening or all of them at the same time, we've all had that same feeling. I can't really handle being a parent, you know, the intensity of it. Can't really handle work. It just seems too much. And now, having sort of overcome all that, now this is like, but yeah, but can you do all this at once? And if you're doing it all, then probably no. But how much are you actually doing?
none of it.
And it's not a get out. It's not like a get out of jail free card. I'm not just bypassing here. I'm like, because Mary goes, yeah, she's avoiding the question. You know, she's not giving you a real answer. But the only place to hang out here is where, in the knowingness that you're not really doing anything. Your body and mind are doing all of this. And aren't they amazing? Aren't they amazing that they can do this?
Yeah.
And then suddenly there's like, oh yeah, I just got caught up in the sense of doing again, right? Because there was a lot of doing going on and I thought I was doing it, and then I got stuck in doo-doo. And can you just feel that sense? Something just kind of sneaks back in and we get caught up in this idea that we're, and I've done it myself, you know, we come off of a 5-day retreat and then I have some time off afterwards and I've got to do all the things that I was supposed to be doing while I was away. I don't know if I'm going to, you know, oh, hang on, here we go, you know, just okay, let me just deep breath and just chill out a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
maybe this
because
might always arise a little bit as you kind of have a surge of seeing deeper and have more activity.
Yeah.
And I found, you might have found as well, or I've already experienced that as I get clear in the knowing of what I actually am, body and mind have more energy, more vitality, and want to do more, and do end up doing more. But of course, something is trying to use that to regrow a separate self, like I've got so much to do, and it starts to feel overwhelmed very quickly and stressed, and then you throw in some lack of sleep and you've got this interesting week.
Yes, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what can you remind yourself? What can you do to kind of bring yourself back out of this when you start to feel in the trenches there? What could you do here?
Well, I like the question of who's doing this. Am I really doing this?
Yeah.
That just brings me right back to the self. So.
And it's okay if every now and again you entertain this idea, isn't it? Where is it written that you should never pick this idea up again? Maybe as the body gets busier, you're doing things now that you haven't done for a while. And if you look at your life from the outside in, you're actually kind of busy, right? Parents and studying and all of that. Anybody else would say, yeah, that's quite a bit to do. So
That's true. That is true.
It's like, why do we have this idea that we have to be Superwoman or Superman or something? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Where's my cape? If I'm going to be Superwoman, I need a cape. Or something.
Yeah, totally. I need that cape.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Helen. It's very helpful.
We're having a laugh, but hopefully that just helps to kind of just remembering, actually, I'm not doing anything. It would be so easy to entertain that idea, wouldn't it? And that's what starts to happen. And just having to reminding yourself however you can regularly, asking other people in the Sangha to tell you as well. So you never go too far without, you don't never go too long caught up in this idea, because it's much harder to pull yourself out of it than it is to remind yourself it's not true in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all do it, right? We all get stuck in that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. So Steve, when you're ready, and then we'll leave it there.
Hi, Helen.
Hello.
I wasn't going to say anything this morning tonight.
This morning.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, and not much to say really. A update on what I've been doing counsellor-wise, but that's something I can share that any time. I've been using that. Is it true I'm not safe for the last few weeks?
Yeah.
Last 2 or 3 weeks anyway. It's like an antidote. So it comes up any sort of conflict at all. Just use it, and it seems to
Takes the edge off it.
Yeah. It don't quite go, but it's like it works type of thing, And so that's all I had to share really. That, and then
I mean, not good that that's all you had to share. Good that it's.
Oh, it's coming. The book's coming now. Years and years ago, well, not that long ago, but 2 or 3 years ago, we talked about. Just mentioned it on first. Reincarnation, and I couldn't quite grasp how anyone could know that, right? I think we said you said it becomes obvious, so I thought, right, I'll wait till it's obvious, And then so I sort of nicely swerved that one, I think, put it to bed, and then I heard you sharing on the day on there. When you're doing that YouTube thing, I went online, but it must be some afterwards. And somebody had asked you about, do you remember your past lives? And you said yes. And I honestly said, come on, Helen. That's what I thought, And then I immediately said, is it true I'm not safe? Is it true I'm not safe? Just sort of put that away, forget about it.
And then I go and say something that disturbs you again, right? Upsets.
But you just come up again now. You mentioned that lady for sharing.
So what is it about reincarnation that you want to?
How can I explain it? you're my teacher. That's fair enough. Yeah, come through. You've known me over years, and so I come to you with questions. But I also have two favourites: Nisargadatta and Maharaj and Pramana Maharshi. You know, which I meditate to a lot, and both of them will say, in reality, there is no reincarnation.
Yeah.
Right. That's all. So, is it an opinion on that teacher compared to that teacher?
Depends what you mean by reincarnation, doesn't it?
I was just sitting there thinking about it, and I said, in reality, there's no reincarnation. Is that the key? Is that the buzzword?
So reincarnation, as I used to think of it, was I have been born again and again and again, going through a succession of lifetimes as a separate being, evolving and changing. You know, me, the separate being, I keep, having these different lifetimes. That was my understanding of reincarnation.
That's not mine. No.
So what is your understanding? That was my old understanding before I woke up.
Well, I think, God, that's what I can't understand, because it's the true self, the emptiness. You know, when I die, the personality goes, the body goes, the mind, it's all gone. What's left is the awareness, which is pure. It's no trace of anything. So how can this somehow reincarnate into
That body there is just the outermost tip of what makes you individual and unique. So when the body goes, what makes you Steve, not all of that is gone. So try to think of it. It might help to think of it as
I've heard you, sorry, I'm not.
it's okay, go on.
I have heard you say this, and it still don't ring somehow. If it's emptiness in emptiness, there's no individuals in emptiness, surely.
Yeah.
Well, go on, okay.
Individual doesn't mean separate, does it? Individual, just like a wave arises in the ocean, and the wave isn't separate to the ocean. There's no point where the wave is separate to the ocean. In fact, the wave can't exist without the ocean.
Right.
So you're here as the ocean, the totality of all of this. And you're also appearing as a wave. Imagine a wave that stays forever and just keeps getting bigger and bigger and more expressive and expansive. Never recedes. The wave is always present. That's your individuality. And then the crest of that wave is the where the water is the physical body. You are the wave and the ocean, and they're always there as both of those. And the physical body goes, but what remains, think of the physical body. Help me to recognize the physical body was and is just the slowest frequency of my individuality. So you exist on many layers and dimensions. And this that I'm looking at here is just the lowest frequency in that we call visible. You want me to say it a different way?
Yeah, I can do.
Oh, what is it that you're struggling with? Could say that all of that I've just said is nonsense because it's all emptiness.
Thank you.
Right?
Go on.
It's all emptiness. Whether it's appearing as a wave or an ocean, it's still water.
Yeah.
But isn't it the nature of the ocean to make waves also?
They all come and recede, don't they? Same one won't come back up again. They're all separate, all different.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
Are they separate though? Is there ever?
I mean, different waves. There's no unique wave. In one wave, you never get another wave exactly the same as the other one. Is
Yeah.
what I mean.
Now imagine that any wave that arose never receded.
Where does it go?
It just stays right there.
So well, I had a blink of the body mind dropping away.
Yeah.
And I saw, oh, obvious. It was just obvious. Oh, no self, no trouble. Then it was gone. When I look back at it, there was still somebody looking at that, or something looking at that.
There was still something watching. Yeah.
It felt like me. I thought, you've seen
Because
this.
what is me is not this body, is it? There's
This is
something
this is new to
more
me.
fundamental than that never falls away. And it wants to experience itself. It wants to understand itself. So it forms subtle bodies
So that
first.
sorry, go on.
Subtle
Get
bodies.
excited.
And then ever more gross, slower vibrations. So we start with very subtle, energetic bodies. Like those, have you set a stacking Russian dolls? Have you seen them? Like you've got a tiny little wooden doll, and then a bigger one, and a bigger one, bigger one. And those are appearing also inside the space. There's the great space of being, and then there's all these layers of your being, of your individuality.
Yeah.
And just the two smallest wooden dolls are taken away when the body goes. The mind, the thought process, and the body. Everything else is still right there. What makes you you?
You're nearly there, I think.
Yeah. It's a good conversation because
It is,
there's
yeah.
also another question on the YouTube answers about this. What is it, and it comes up so often, is there such a thing as reincarnation or not? So am I a separate being going through lifetimes like that, like I thought I was? Or am I the ocean and the wave, and every now and again I put on a body to experience myself through, and then I let go of that body, and then I put on another body, like a glove on a hand. And I take the glove off, the hand's still there. When the glove's on, I can't really see the hand, I can just see the glove. Or dressing
So
up in different outfits.
They actually are almost entities then.
It's never one or the other. It's never, am I the totality or am I the wave? It's always, I'm going to use the word both because it just isn't any other word. Both implies two, but it's the nature of the ocean to rise up as a wave too. That's not a mistake. But that rising up as a wave isn't just the physical body. The physical body is just the outermost extremity of that you could see and feel and interact with. But there is even right now between us, there's an interaction going on an energetic level that our mind is completely unaware of. Completely. You can feel it, right? Something's happening. Yeah. So clear as mud.
There's another question there. I can't think what it is yet.
Have you gone further in your understanding this time
Yes.
than you did last time?
Yeah.
So just looking at where you got stuck with that, or where it wasn't so obvious what I said, and just spending a little time with that, and then next time we can go further with it, because
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
because the only issue here is our tendency to think, which one is it?
Mm-hmm.
Is there reincarnation or not? Kind of yes and no, because something is experienced in different bodies over and over again, getting different succession of human bodies, physical bodies. But it's also, you're also the totality too.
Okay.
Necessarily, and this is why a lot of us get confused in this area, necessarily to recognize the infinite self, the silence, the consciousness, you have to kind of ignore momentarily that individual expression. We have to ignore that to see, yeah, but there's this great big thing behind that that is eternal and unchanging.
Yeah. Okay.
Then once we recognize that, we come to see, and it's also showing up as this unique individual. Individual actually means indivi, jewel. Indivi meaning indivisible, and jewel meaning two. So the individuality that we have means indivisible two-ness. It's all there hidden in the words. I'm such a nerd, I know.
What is it you call that?
Etymology.
Etymology.
Indivi, literally it's Latin for indivisible. So two-ness appearing, indivisibility appearing as two-ness, but not actually two. The two-ness here is, am I the totality or am I the wave? Yes. Yes. You can show it both ways. And you always are. There's never a time when you're not appearing as an individual and the totality at the same time. Some of those times you'll have a physical body also, some you won't. But you're never not here in that way.
Good. No, it's good, honestly. I've something to digest there, I think.
Yeah.
In a spiritual way, of course.
Don't try too hard with it.
No, it's a question.
It's good to ask the questions and all of that, and to have this kind of conversation. But the way to really get to understand it in the same way I do is just not to try too hard. It's not going to come through effort to the mind, is it? You know, like what's all the ways I can experience myself? Is it just blank, empty formlessness?
It's that myself I've been talking about, and I get confused. It's that myself. Because as I say, when I saw it, there was still some, I was there looking at it, but the mind, the self had gone. It's strange. But there was somebody still there, or some things.
Yeah.
Is that me? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. That's clear.
And it's looking through that body mind right now.
Well, that's about, yeah, but I'm thinking it's going to clarify that now, but that's what I feel. So sense, yeah.
Just gently sit with the intention. I'd like to really get that. I'd like to really kind of get it, you know, like, but I'm not going to effort at it. I'd just like to really get it.
Just relax with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best to forget about it once you put that intention out. If you can, do something else.
Okay.
If you can't,
You
forget
mean
about
it,
it,
though,
that's
yeah, I know what
fine.
you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lovely.
Thank you.
So we'll leave it there for today. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you.